Welcome to the Heart of Truth, a podcast for seekers, visionaries, and conscious heart and soul-led leaders navigating this global shift in consciousness. Hosted by Amanda Erin Kelly, author and founder of Illumina Wisdom School of Mastery, this podcast explores the full spectrum of our potential and the hidden mysteries of our world, both inner and outer. Let's dive in deep to the nature of reality and rise up ever higher into the light of truth as we navigate the hero's journey home to the heart of truth. Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back to the Heart of Truth podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Erin Kelly, and today's episode is going to get into what I feel and see is the overall purpose and mission of humanity at this time, which I know is a very bold statement to make, but what I see as the path forward for humanity and why we are all here at this time going through all of this collective turmoil and chaos, what the greater purpose is, and what our role is in being here at this point in time. So you will have already seen the title, Let There Be Light, Liberating the Heart of Humanity to Create Heaven on Earth. And this is, of course, the title for my book as well. So that book came through to me as a video series in December 2020 when I was anchoring into this journey and my channel was opening up. It was basically a 21-day channeled series, which became the 21 primary chapters of this book. And I went live every day for those 21 days, December 1st through the 21st, leading up to winter solstice of 2020 with the great Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. That was kind of opening the field, I suppose you could say, to this age of Aquarius that has just in the last few months fully anchored in, and we are seeing it and feeling it very powerfully in the collective energies and the perceived collective turmoil and chaos and all of that, especially seeing it through the lens of the American election and the US election, I should say, and the inauguration and the first few weeks of this very controversial presidency here in the United States. However, when we look at the energies, of course, it was always meant to happen this way. It was always going to happen this way because we have this revolutionary energy with us. Now, when I sat down to record that series at the time, I woke up December 1st of 2020 just with this intuitive knowing that I had to do this. And those 21-day outlines just flowed, and I didn't really know what was going to come out when I first sat down, but it all made perfect sense. And it became what I feel is basically the path forward to healing back to wholeness. What is the pathway forward? How do we navigate the journey, but also anchoring it into the bigger picture of humanity's collective awakening? And so this gets into, one way to look at it is actually like escaping the matrix. How do we escape the matrix? And what is the matrix? It's really a mental matrix of belief systems and the way we perceive reality and interact with reality, I think, is the most anchored way to explain the matrix in a way that doesn't sound so esoteric and woo-woo and weird and sci-fi, right? There's a lot of reality to these sci-fi movies, honestly, fantasy movies. One section in my book is "The truth is stranger than fiction." Indeed, it is. What our reality is so much more than we have been conditioned to believe it is. And that's one of the major overarching themes of the book. And what I want to get into today is, just a little bit more about the themes of the book, and I'll share some of the quotations from the introduction in particular, because I really feel that it is so helpful for people who are navigating this journey to anchor into the bigger picture, and especially for those who are new to the journey, newly awakened souls who are not really sure what the bigger picture is because they know something is not right, but it's not very clear and perhaps a little scary and nerve-wracking. So if you're at that phase of your journey, I'm sending you a lot of love. It does take courage to navigate this, but trust that it is all for your highest good, because it truly is. It is for the highest good of humanity as a whole. So I'm going to go back to the phrase that came through when I was in grad school in 2012. 2012 was meant to be the end of times, according to Mayan prophecy, right? And it was, in fact, in 2012 that I had my first notable, what I would now call a download, a channeling, whatever you want to actually call it. It doesn't really matter, but something that came from beyond my conscious brain, the system, the shift, the awakening. I didn't really have context for that at the time, but I remember sitting in grad school, it's at the library, and all of a sudden, when I was, doing my research, writing my papers, whatever I was doing in the moment, this thought just popped into my mind so clearly, and I never forgot it. And then when 2020 hit, I was like, oh, this is what's happening. The system is crumbling, the shift in consciousness is occurring, and the Great Awakening is here. I finally had context for what that all meant. And, my journey was a slow unblossoming, not unblossoming, unfolding and blossoming as seeds and sparks were activated. Of course, in my book, I also detail my cancer journey. And if you've watched the first few episodes of this podcast, you'll already be well aware of a lot of the most important aspects of my journey, including that cancer journey and what that woke me up to. So in the book, I basically weave my journey through, but it's not about my journey. It is about the path that we are all collectively navigating the dark night of the soul, and also anchoring it into this greater global shift in consciousness of humanity. So here is the book. The cover of the book. And as you can see in the background, this is the cover of the book without all the words. And that is actually a real photograph I took from an airplane, and then I, made it a little fancier. But that's actually the glow of the sun at the top. Those are real clouds. That is the Earth, Mother Earth below. And I used it as the working cover, I suppose you could say. And then when it came time to be serious about what is this cover going to be, it felt right to just keep it as that, because it really felt like this anchoring of heaven onto earth, which is really what we are here to do. It's a frequency thing. We are here to embody the frequencies of being that align with a heavenly reality. So, what would those frequencies be? Peace, love, harmony, right? What do you imagine when you imagine heaven? Well, that is what we're here to create here on earth, the promised land of milk and honey. And it begins within, as within, so without. And so this book is really about that. And, whether or not you wind up getting the book, I hope you get something out of this episode, because this is really to anchor in for us all what the purpose of our mission here is on the planet at this time. We all chose to be here, and we were all chosen to be here. Believe it or not, your soul chose to have this experience and was probably feeling very blessed that it was chosen because, according to certain perspectives that I prescribe to, a lot of souls wanted to be here for this time because it is the greatest show in the universe and has the most potent opportunity for soul growth, evolution, and ascension. So, if you're here, your soul chose to be here and was chosen to be here for this time in particular, for the greater collective awakening. And whatever role you play, it is for this greater purpose. Your role is going to be very specific to you, but it is for this greater purpose of liberating the heart of humanity, as a phrase came through, to create heaven on earth, specifically to co-create as the divine beings that we are. As the fractals of divinity that we are here to co-create a heaven on earth reality. So what are your actual soul gifts that you're here to express in this lifetime? What is your level of expertise and mastery in a particular subject? So we literally need people to build practical systems and structures that align with these collective greater good realities, abundance for all. And so this is why we are seeing the current systems and structures crumble, because they are not built on a frequency and foundation of truth, of justice, of love, of freedom, much less harmony, right? So united we stand, divided we fall. I do talk about that in this book. And what we are seeing is the separation consciousness bubbling to the surface, but we are also witnessing in real time how the powers that were, I will say, how the powers that were are attempting to perpetuate the division, to keep us separated. And so if we remain in this separation consciousness, we're only going to perpetuate it ourselves if we buy into that and we feed into that. You know, I'm recording this actually the day after the Super Bowl in the United States, and I did not watch it. Instead, I went on a feed that was kind of to offer another option for people who were not interested in tuning in. And we were just talking about escaping the matrix and what it was that woke us up from the matrix and all sorts of different themes. And it really is. And one thing that I said is these events serve as the bread and circus distractions. The Roman Empire, we know, had all of those things to keep the population distracted from the fact that they were suffering and enslaved, essentially. And that's exactly what our consumerist, materialist, entertainment-based reality is. It's a distraction to keep us off track and to prevent us from recognizing that our consciousness has been, in fact, enslaved, and we are not truly as free as we think ourselves to be. The majority of us, the vast majority of us, are still operating in this empire mentality and giving our power away to it. And so how do we break that system down? How do we rebuild the system? Well, there's going to be a lot of different thoughts on that. But first off, we have to recognize it for what it is. And then we can come together to find solutions. But until we recognize that the problem is not each other, it is the system itself, it is the hierarchical top-down system of control. Until we recognize that, we will continue to perpetuate the system. And the more we can take our energy out of that system, the better off we will be collectively. So frequency, energy, these are the ultimate keys. How do we embody this state of being that is this heavenly reality, as within, so without? It begins with the body temple. It all has to occur within the body. And that's one thing that I address a bit, and I'm going to most certainly address on this podcast as well. Going forward, I'm going to dedicate specific episodes to this about how a lot of the spiritual teachings are very ungrounded and perpetuate this escapist mentality Escaping the matrix is a perfect example of it. We're not really here to escape it. We are here to break it. We are here to dissolve it, is actually the word that I prefer. And then anchor in the organic Edenic blueprint, the angelic blueprint that is contained within our DNA. So when I talk about the body vessel and the body temple, I literally mean at a physical, biological, biochemical level to purify, to clear, to harmonize, to bring it into homeostasis, to bring it into coherence. So we're looking at this from a very practical perspective, right? So this book does outline a lot of the journey. Yeah, we are here to anchor in, we could call it a golden age, emerald aurora earth, a rainbow age. There's different perspectives on this. Diamond earth, I've heard all sorts of different terminologies. It's important and it's not at the same time. Like the specific words, it's more the frequency and the energy of divinity that is being anchored in both mother, father, God consciousness being anchored and then allowing it to blossom through us. So that is both the golden and the diamond rainbow frequencies. And you see on, if you're watching this in the video, some might be tuning in, but if you do take a look at the cover of my book as well, there's rainbow energy coming through the sun. And there's just so much to be said about the frequencies that are coming off the sun that are activating our bodies, that are activating our DNA. And now I don't want to get too technical or esoteric about this either, but the fact is inner work is the key, as well as tending to nourishing, healing the body vessel, purifying it, cleansing, detoxing. Begin with the basics of drink lemon water and get outside as much as possible, right? And these are the fundamentals that we don't let go of. We continue to do this. So while it's wonderful and beautiful to go meditate for hours on end, if that's really what you feel called to do to calm your system, sometimes those retreats might be really helpful, but you don't need to meditate for hours to be anchoring in those frequencies and to be ascending and evolving your soul consciousness. It's not necessary to, sit in meditation to be spiritual. You are spiritual. And yeah, these are themes that I'm going to get into. But yeah, I'm just reading the back of my book here. The miracle that you are is the phrase that I just glanced down at and noticed immediately. Ready or not, the Great Awakening is here and we are living the prophecy, and it is the most exciting time to be alive as the miracle that you are. This is the truth. This life, this body temple is a gift and it is a miracle that we get to experience. But awakening does propel us, catalyze us into a dark night of the soul. And there are aspects of this journey that are absolutely undeniably unpleasant because we come up against the shadows and the quote unquote darkness. What we perceive as darkness is really not meant to be bad. It's the shadows in the darkness, but we've got to get comfortable with that and embrace it and love it and integrate it into the light of who we are, the truth of who we are. So the promised land of milk and honey is waiting just on the other side of the rainbow bridge, which is you. And the rainbow bridge is those energy centers being activated and opened and allowing the energy to flow through so that you can be that conduit. Again, it's actually very practical what we are doing here when we talk about creating heaven on earth and activating our spirit body. Yes, it's actually all energy. Everything is energy. You are energy. That's another section in my book. I really endeavored to address all of it. So let me read, as I promised, a couple of the quotations that I underlined. I have received very beautiful feedback, and somebody suggested even creating a little, whatever I do with it, like picking out some of the quotations from the book. So I really appreciated that feedback. So If we allow ourselves to pause and tune in, we will begin to hear the whispers of our hearts and souls that know we can't go back to the way things were before. The sword of truth is piercing through illusion and illuminating the distortion, yet many are left without a sense of direction, much less a map or tools to move forward or rebuild. Yet in the face of chaos, the light of everlasting hope burns eternal and calls us to have steadfast faith in the strength and ultimate goodness of humanity. And then skipping forward a paragraph, the apocalypse is upon us, revelation is underway, disclosure is here. But as I continue, apocalypse is a word of Greek origin meaning to reveal, an uncovering of divine knowledge. So apocalypse doesn't mean Armageddon. It means to reveal the illusion. And so when the illusion is revealed, things crumble. The illusion itself is what is crumbling, and many of our systems, our political systems and structures, for example, as the prime example, in fact, they are built on illusion. It's a facade. A lot of what we thought was appropriate is actually just complete coercion. And so the illusions of these systems and structures are being revealed, and they're going to have to crumble. And so, yes, we have large tasks, but I also want to just anchor in that a lot of these systems and structures for the new earth and the new age, new economy, new business models, new financial systems, they are being created. They've already been created. The foundations have been created, I suppose is a better way to say that. And things are already flowing. So there's kind of this parallel reality, and the one that is blossoming, this higher frequency reality, will inevitably emerge as what is the higher truth for humanity. It's not that we'll avoid chaos, but there is hope, okay? We are living in the age of prophecy, responsible for ushering in the future of humanity, a new golden age of light. Hope is here. As the saying goes, it's always darkest before the dawn. So, yes, there is plenty of hope. A few paragraphs down, I continue on. Crisis can evolve into opportunity for change if we look at it through the correct lens. In fact, the Chinese character for crisis, when flipped upside down, means opportunity. This is precisely what is happening to humanity as a whole. Our inverted matrix is being flipped upside down so that it becomes right side up once more. We have reached the crisis point. Now is our opportunity to rise up, put the world right, and return to our organic state. To quote Leonard Cohen's anthem, there is a crack in everything, and that's how the light gets in. Our minds and hearts are being cracked open so that the light of truth can flood in to restore us to the truth of our wholeness, our holiness. So when I was going through my cancer journey, I learned that tidbit about crisis. The term crisis in Chinese, if you flip it upside down, means opportunity. And that really stuck with me. And it really helped me to flip my mindset. And I remembered how important mindset is on the journey. And that helped me stay anchored in it. And the truth of our wholeness, our holiness. When I was going through my own awakening, a phrase that came to me was healing back to wholeness. And I realized that this is the journey we are here on, to reclaim all the aspects of self that have been relegated to the darkness through shame and pain and trauma, to reclaim them, to integrate them, that inner child work, right? So again, I explore all of these different aspects through the book, and I offer a lot of the tools and the resources. And of course, my school addresses all of this as well. The practical tools and wisdom and resources to help people navigate the journey, as well as activations. So collectively, we are walking the hero's journey together, returning to the remembrance that we are all one. It is time for a resurrection and regenesis of our sacred hearts and blessed home to create heaven on earth. The light has won. It is time to reclaim the truth, which is love and unity. Welcome to the Great Awakening, where the light always wins. So I skipped a number of paragraphs between these phrases. That's just a few pages in, honestly, what I've read from so far. But this is what I share. Death must always precede rebirth. What is happening right now is a blessing because the truth is the reality created by the inverted matrix was enslaving our consciousness. We are now being liberated from the shackles of tyranny into love and sovereignty. United We Stand points to a greater spiritual truth driving the collective evolution of we the people, that of unity consciousness. Divisiveness has been weaponized against the population, and it is time to rise above the noise and unite for our future. It is time to build a more beautiful future of love, harmony, and abundance for all. We have shown time and again how incredibly resilient and capable we are when left to our own devices, and now it is time to integrate the wisdom of hyper self-reliance to radiate the brilliance of the diamond when our unique fractals merge into a whole that is far stronger than its facets. There is so much more, I'm sure, that I could read and that may resonate with you. And if that does resonate with you, of course, I do encourage you to go ahead and get your copy and really delve into it. I, again, endeavored to create an actual roadmap through this book. And the introduction alone contains a lot of information, and I've just been humbled by the feedback that I've received that I got to be a vessel for this book to come through. And now is the time. This is a book for these times. And this is why I knew that I had to get it out when I did finally. But also, I felt like if I had put it out sooner, it may not have reached as many people because right now we are seeing a mass collective awakening occurring and many still don't understand. But over the next few years, we're going to see an explosion of consciousness in humanity. And so this is really a tool in itself to help us really stay grounded in the higher truth that is guiding us through this incredibly tumultuous time in humanity's evolution, because it's incredibly profound. I do explain it more in my book, but it's incredibly profound what we are experiencing and going through collectively right now. This global awakening is of gargantuan proportion. What Earth is doing along with her children, we are going through an unprecedented time, and I know that word itself is basically a hackneyed cliche because everything has been unprecedented of late. But that's exactly what these times are for. So we've got to shed the old. It is the year of the snake, as I mentioned in that first introductory episode. And we are shedding the old. That's what the crumbling is. The dismantling of the old system has to happen. So I will leave it there for this episode. If you feel called, I would so appreciate if you got the book, and reviews are so helpful for other people to find it and to help them understand what the book is about and the value that they might receive from it if it resonates with them. And yeah, I so appreciate you for being here on this journey with me as we begin, because there is so much more to come. Yeah, it's going to be a powerful, powerful time in humanity's collective awakening and evolution. And if you're here for the journey, if you're here along for the ride with me, I am just sending you so much love and gratitude. And of course, the links to grab the book are below, and for the school and for the free community with a bunch of free tools and resources for you to get started on your journey if you're ready to really embrace it and dive in. I've got all sorts of free resources and really deep dive tools available in my school, Illumina Wisdom School. So until next time, onward and upward in love and light as we journey home to the heart of truth. Thank you for tuning in to the Heart of Truth podcast with your host, Amanda Erin Kelly. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving a rating or review on your favorite platform. And if you'd like to go deeper, grab your copy of my book, Let There Be Light, and join us inside the free community in Illumina Wisdom School, where you can access free resources to jumpstart your journey, such as a higher self activation and the Body Temple Blueprint Masterclass, as well as explore the plethora of resources, including Awakening Fundamentals and Luminary, my signature path to wholeness and mastery, to help you become your own healer and sovereign authority. You can access everything at thisartcalledlife.com or find the links down in the show notes below. Until next time, onward and upward in love and light as we journey home to the heart of truth.